Alright, so you like Gruul, but you want to put a little bit more control. To more colors is going to be the ones for you. And my favorite out of all these, of all the Timur commanders that I could find, would be Animar Soul of Elements. I've talked to a few people about this. It's an older card. It is a staple in the EDH community. It's been around for a while. If you like doing big creatures, if you like spell slinging as well, then this would probably be the deck for you. So, let's get on with it. I'm going to be covering my framework build for Animar. The cards I'll show you are my auto includes for the first build of this deck. These are the cards that will provide a framework for a fast, focused, and reliable deck. So right off the bat, we'll start with creatures. For this one, I've got 12 creatures. My final build, I may have 25, 26. I could even go for 30 because it's going to be the focus of this deck. Animar himself is what kicks off this focus. He has protection from white and black. When you cast a creature spell, put a 1/1 counter on Animar Soul of the Elements. Creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each 1/1 counter on Animar. So this is pretty great. You're going to be able to put out some big stuff. You're going to be able to cheat a little bit. But also you're going to be doing some spell slinging. So let's look at the utility stuff we have. First thing that I went to was Porphyros. I know I'm going to be playing a lot of creatures. I know I'm going to be sticking them out really fast. So I want to be able to do a lot of direct damage to my opponent. He has Indestructible. If you get your devotion up with red, then he becomes a 6/5 beater. And on top of that, which is where it really shines, is his second ability. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Porphyros deals 2 damage to each opponent. This is great. Later on, we could be popping out 5 or 6 creatures a turn. We'll have plenty of recursion from our graveyard, and we'll be able to cheat them out as well. The next one that would be utilitarian would be the Reclamation Sage. A lot of these are placeholders so I can get more cards like them. That's why we have such a low creature count. Again, this is a skeleton build. I want to make sure that I have cards that are similar in nature or I can duplicate. So Reclamation Sage is removal. When Reclamation Sage enters the battlefield, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Pretty simple. And then we've got Vizier of the Menagerie. You may look at the top card of your library. You may cast the top card of your library if it's a creature card. And you may spend mana as though a mana of any type to cast creature spells. This plays right into Gruul's thing. It plays right into being able to cheat stuff off the top. It combos well with so many other pieces, I found it to be an auto include. So, the next thing I would be looking at would be mana fixing. The tried and true Birds of Paradise lets you add a mana of any color on tap. The good old Bloom Tender. You have 1 mana for each color among permanents you control. If you get your Animar out soon enough, you have 3 right off the bat there. Quillen Oracle will let you go grab lands. Then you got Dryad of the Elysian Grove to fix your lands so that you can know exactly what you want to see when you want to use them. Then you've got your Farhaven Elf to go grab. Nyx Bloom Ancient so you can stack up on that mana and triple it up. You got Runeclaw Mystic, which I think is just a neat little card. I've never played one, I don't own one yet, but I'd like to get him. I think he's a good build for this. Then you've got Secure Tribe Elder, tried and true. If you need sacrifice triggers, he's your guy. If you need to bring it back, he only costs 2 at most. It's a good one. So going off of all that ramp, let's look over at the artifacts. I'll start off with Arcane Signet. This has been a staple since day one. If you don't have one, you should grab one. It's a great card, pretty inexpensive. Then you've got Ketra Crystal. These come from Ikoria. It's great, be able to cycle it if you need to. Then of course you can add 1 of each color if you need it. Then you've got the Talisman series. These are all 2-drop artifacts. I've been including these in all the decks that I can with all the color combinations that I can. The newer ones will be from Modern Horizons. And then the older ones, like Impulse here, will be from Scars of Mirrodin and can be pulled at a reasonable rate. So you've got Talisman Impulse for red and green, Talisman of Curiosity for blue and green, then Talisman of Creativity for blue and red. Then you have your utility Soul Ring, the tried and true. Great thing about these is you have a lot of lower cost things, you have easy ways to ramp. Other ways to ramp would be lower stuff like Growth Spiral, a 2-drop instant speed, and then Cultivate. I put these in mainly as placeholders. I know I want to put ramp spells in there. I also want to have the additional land play that I can get off Growth Spiral. But where Growth Spiral really shines, where a lot of my instances in this deck will really shine, will be in the spell slinging aspect. So not only are we looking at ramp, we're looking at the spell sling. So let's move over to that. And what kicks off the spell slinging, not only the Isochron Scepter. Now I've been talking a little bit about this, about putting this in every deck that you can. This deck will greatly benefit from you being able to play this. And if you put enough tutors in there, or you have enough card draw, I'm sure you'll hit it, and you can set up what you need. So right off the bat, the things that I would put on it. Well, with Isochron Scepter, when it comes out, instant card will convert a mana cost 2 or less. You imprint it on there, then you can pay 2. Copy the exile card. If you pay you can pay it without paying its casting cost. So what I would do right off the bat was go for Growth Spiral. You're able to draw a card off of it, and you put a land card from your hand on the battlefield. It's a fantastic card. If you were able to sit there and put it on your Isochron Scepter and pop it out, at least once a turn, you're looking pretty good. The next thing I would go for is Reclaim. A good utilitarian. Put target card from your graveyard on top of your library. That's any card. Enchantments, instants, sorceries, lands, you name it. It's a great card in general, but if you can put it on a stick, it's even better. If you need some removal, Sapphire Charm. The thing that I've been doing with this is the middle part of it. So target player draws a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. That's great. Or target creature an opponent controls phases out. Or target creature gains flying until end of turn. So what I'll do with this is I'll put it on Isochron Scepter, and you can phase out your opponent's commander until the next upkeep. The next great thing that you can throw on that would be Heroic Intervention. This is a great card in itself, but even if you can't recur it back, if you could throw it on a stick, it's even better. It will protect the stick itself and all your creatures. A lot of you that play green already know about this card, and you can see why it's an auto include. So once you've gone from that, look at some things like Swan Song. We've got our counter spells, and then we've got Fierce Guardianship, which at the moment is one of the better counter spells at a budget price in the game, especially if you have your commander in play. So once we have all those set up, we can run off our spell slinging abilities and combo off with Isochron Scepter. We can go into some more generic spells, like our sorceries here. Bastos Act, one of the best master removal spells in the game right now. Eldritch Evolution, a sacrifice trigger plus a way to tutor up for a creature. You've got your Recollect and your Regrowth, 2 utilitarian ways to get that recursion back into your hand. Great cards. Then, of course, Genesis Ultimatum, a great way for you to cheat the game, cheat to win. For our more permanent spells, we'll go to enchantments. My favorite one off of this would be Hydra's Growth. You enchant the creature, and you put a 1/1 counter on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, you double the number of 1/1 counters on an enchanted creature. It's great to note, if you haven't picked up on it already, those 1/1 counters don't have to just be from Hydra's Growth. They could already be on there. So, you could throw it on your Animar. He already has his 1/1 counters on it. You start doubling them up. Now, I didn't really want to go too far into the Tron build on this, because I want to have more versatility, and I want to have more reliability. Animar is a big target for your opponents, so it knows what you can do. You can cheat stuff out, you can do it fast. So more than likely, he'll be removed. The next one we'll have would be Impact Tremors. Kind of like Porphyros, to whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you're going to do damage. You have Rhythm of the Wild, giving creatures haste or a 1/1 counter when they come out. Plus, the added benefits of creature spells you control can be countered. What more could you want? Song of Creation is a great way to get an extra land out, draw a whole lot of cards, and stock your graveyard if you want to go for that type of build. Then you have Timur Ascendancy. Creatures you control have haste. Creature power 4 greater enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Simple enough, you get card draw out of it, and you get haste. Then you got Wilderness Reclamation. Give you your end step, untap all lands you control. This will allow you to play flash spells. It'll allow you to play instant speed spells. Anything that you need to do on your opponent's turn, this will be great for it. Now let's talk about one of my new favorites, Instill Energy. Now, I went over this in one of my other videos. I just found out about it personally. But this is specifically for my mana dorks. Enchanted creature is unaffected by summoning sickness, so you give it haste. Pay 0, untap enchanted creature, uses this ability only once each turn. So, the best thing to do is go ahead and throw out your Bloom Tender, throw your Instill Energy on your Bloom Tender, and go ahead and tap it for those 3 mana. Then untap it, do it again. You've ramped yourself with your Bloom Tender turn 1 that it comes out. If you can't get that out that fast, maybe even turn 2 or 3. Well, the lands are pretty much the only thing we have left here. There's not much to say about that. I went for lands that had keyword that are pretty accessible to everybody. So you got the Breeding Pool, Cinderglade, and then you have your Tri-lands, your Frontier Biovac, and then your Catcher Triumph. Catcher Triumph also has a keyword, just like Breeding Pool, Cinderglade, and then Stomping Ground. Right now these aren't too expensive, they should be pretty accessible to everybody, which is why I went ahead and included those as my non-basic lands I'm putting in this deck. The rest of it will probably be basic lands. Then you've got Rootbound Crag, and good old Fable Passage. That's pretty much it. That's everything that I want to do with this deck. If you have any more interesting ideas, let me know. And of course, this is just a skeleton. There's a lot more that can be added into it. But this is one I want to build on to be able to focus in on a strategy or multiple strategies. Or maybe I want to find a way out of a certain situation. This will give me some answers. But that's been it for this video. Let me know if you have anything else.